See, in this life, the person you marry is very important. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. Today's video we're going to be reviewing the number one trending video on YouTube for the last 1 week. As at the time of recording of this video, it was for the last 1 week anyway. And that is The Train, the movie The Train by Mount Zion Movies, which is a documentation of the life of Evangelist Mike Bamiloye. The movie was released on the 3rd of May and has been making waves since then. I actually watched it like I think about a week ago, but I don't know why I'm just recording my review now anyway. So we're going to be talking about the movie in two parts today. First of all, we're going to be talking about the technicalities, the acting, the props, everything about the movie. And then we're going to be talking about the lessons that are to be taken away from the movie. But before we get into all of that, if you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe to join us. First of all, I'd been seeing the movie like everywhere on Instagram. Like everybody was just talking about the movie, and I was like, okay, let me watch it. After all, I like Mount Zion movies, so why not? Like, let me watch it. But when I saw the movie, I checked it. I was like 2 hours 44 minutes. What is going on? Is this Bollywood all over again? This is like an almost 3 hour movie. I was like how in the world am I even going to watch this on YouTube? But let me tell you people, it was worth the watch. It was worth my time. Okay, let's talk about the writing of the movie. The movie was written by Damilola Mike Bamiloye, that's the first son of Evangelist Mike Bamiloye. And I must commend him because the movie was written very excellently in the sense that he incorporated humor, he incorporated like a lot of things into the movie. Like it wasn't just your regular life story, because a lot of times when you're watching people's life stories, like is always trying like they are usually trying to portray it as very emotional, very, I don't know how to explain it, like sad or something like that, which was portrayed in the movie, but it was also done with a lot of humor in the mix, which I feel like was very great for the movie. And he did something very nice by dividing the movie into chapters. So we had about 7 chapters in the movie. So it was like from one phase to the other. So it was easier to watch that way because you looked forward to seeing what was going to happen in the next phase. It's like watching a series, like you want to know what will happen in the next episode. And I think that was one of the things that they did that made it like a very smooth transition from one chapter to the other. Let's talk about the props that were used in the movie. The props that were used, like I feel like the props was one of the best things about the movie, because they could have just like made it just like a traditional scene and not gone that in depth into like putting their thoughts into everything that was used. Like you could see the currency, the old currency, you could see the wall hanging, things. You could see the abo ajashe that our grandmas used to use then. Like
onílùlẹ̀ ibi òde oníkálukú ló mí ṣe tiẹ̀ o ọnìkan rojú ọnì.
everything, the props were very well thought out. Like they really put like a lot of effort into that. It was, I'm sure it would have been a lot of work. Like the set, the everything they used portrayed the 80s and the 90s. Like it just portrayed that time, the television sets, the radio sets, like it was dope. It was just fantastic. The acting of this movie was out of this world. Like I don't even know how to explain, because every major character portrayed their character very, very well. Like everybody that acted in this movie, it's very difficult to fault the acting of anybody in this movie. I especially loved 8-year-old Abayomi. Like it wasn't even just the things he said, but it was his mannerisms, his facial expressions. Like you could literally feel what he was feeling because you could see it on his face. Like it was so good. It was so good. The lady that acted Mike Bamiloye's elder sister, the older woman, like she was really good. Everybody to look by Mike Bamiloye that acted as Gloria Bamiloye, everybody in this movie, like they portrayed their character very well. Then how can I forget Brother Rotimi? Brother Rotimi, double double.
Brother man, double double.
Like he was funny. He was funny. Like the humor was not forced. It was so easy to laugh through the movie. Like big ups to the actors of the movie. They did a very, very, very good job. Let's talk about the editing of the movie. Like I love the transitions of the scenes. Like there was just a very smooth flow and transition. I believe the movie was edited by Joshua Mike Bamiloye. He did a great job. There was a particular scene where Sister Shola went to beg Mike Bamiloye's sister to support that. Like the transition between that scene and the scene of the wedding was absolutely phenomenal. It was really nice. Like watch the movie if you have not watched it. Watch it. And that thing I really loved about the movie was it had a lot of Easter eggs embedded in it. Like the Agbarala soundtrack was revamped, and I think it was an acoustic version that was used in the movie. Also, there was like the original Agbarala soundtrack that was turned into an instrumental and was also used in the movie. Several names of old Mount Zion movies were mentioned in the movie. Like it was really, really dope. Now talking about the soundtracks of the movie, at some point when I was watching the movie, like I was more focused on even the music, the background music, than the movie itself. Like, cause the music was good, the sounds were good. There's a particular soundtrack at the end, the train, that was J Mikey and Lawrence Oyo. Like the song was very nice. I've been listening to the song all week. Like I said earlier, one of the things that I loved the most about the movie was the humor in it. Like even though thinking about it in hindsight, we would pity Mike Bamiloye because like he had to go through a lot. But at the same time, it was funny to see the things that he also did as a child. Like it was fun to go through the whole process with him. Some of my favorite scenes were the morning devotion scene.
Gbogbo ẹ̀ ń bí kan fún dájú kwa bájú kwa dájú kwa.
Iya Eleni's burial, and all the things that had Sister Shola's mommy in it, because that woman she na Jassy mama. Like she knew when it was time to excuse brother Mike and Sister Shola. Like
Ìjàlè máa mú mi. Ìjàlè máa sáré mú mi.
she was good. She was good. Those were some of my favorite funny scenes, but all in all, every scene was actually very good. Last but not the least, on technicalities, I love the fact that the movie was very, very real and realistic, in the sense that it never really portrayed anybody as good all through, and which is the reality of life. Like we all have our good sides and our shortcomings, and I like the fact that even though it was the life story of Mike Bamiloye, it wasn't portrayed like, oh, it was good all through and he was just suffering for nothing. He showed us like all the things that he had done, all the bad things, and then how God saved him. In the same vein, even his sister, it showed us like how supportive she was of him, and even the times she wasn't supportive of his decisions. Everybody in the movie, even though were not portrayed as bad people, but it was realistic in the sense that it made us see that not every relationship was smooth all through from the beginning to the end, which is the reality of life. We don't have it smooth with anybody all through. So I really love that about the movie. Now to the inspirational messages, or would I say spiritual messages that we can take away from the movie. The first thing that I took away from the movie is you should never write off any child. Do not despise any child or feel that anybody is like God cannot use anybody, because he was a chronic thief. Like Yoruba people say, Ole. Like he was a thief. Like nobody could have expected that, as notorious as Abayomi was, we would not have ever thought that he would grow up to be what he became today. So do not, just say, oh, because this child is bad or this child is giving me a lot of trouble. You can't discard the child because of that. Keep pushing, keep praying, and keep feeding that child with the word of God. And that thing I took away from the movie, or that really spoke to me in the movie, is that God knows us. God knows our name, and which is not that I did not know that, but it just became more visible to me in the movie, like where he said in his word that even when you were before I formed thee, I had known thee, and even when you were in your mother's womb, I had ordained thee. Like God knows us. He knew Abayomi even as at the age of 4 when his mom died. His mom was already prophesying about what his future was going to look like. So God knows us. He knows like what he has destined for us and what he has planned for us, even though today might not look like that glorious future, but he actually knows the end from the beginning. The third thing I took away from the movie is that it is never too late for anybody to be great, or it is never too late for anybody to come back to God. My family actually backslid at a point in time, and he found his way back to God. Even after everything, he found his way back to God, and God was able to accept him back into his fold. And even after that was when he went ahead to do all the great things that he has done. So one of the things that I took away from the movie is, no matter what you think your sins are, no matter what you think you've done, God can actually use anybody, and it is never too late for God to use you. The next thing is you must recognize the voice of God. He knew when God was speaking to him. He knew like this is what God has said and this is what God wanted him to do. So even when he had oppositions and he had people that were not supporting him, even the people that he felt would support him the most were not supporting him, he already knew that he heard the voice of God. So it was easy for him to go along with that.
As I'm your sister, you will do exactly what I tell you.
For as long as he is my God, I'll do what he tells me.
And that's something that's very important for us to know when God is speaking to us, so that we can hold on to his promises. Another thing I learned from the movie is that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above like what we could ever ask or even imagine.
Mọ́mí, mo máa ń ṣeré ni. Ṣẹ́rí TV yẹn àwọn celebrity lọ ṣe kò ń ṣe orú àwa báyìí.
When Bra Mike was talking about like being on TV and his sister was claiming it for him, well, he was like, the TV is for celebrities. It's like, can you imagine me on TV? Me, can you imagine that? But eventually God did it and he was on TV. And if like, are you even in Nigeria? And if you did not know I am a tanga at some point, like you'd have heard about it at some point. And I think that that's a testament to the fact that God can do much more than we ever could imagine. Something else I learned from the movie is that we have to marry right. See, in this life, the person you marry is very important because that person is supposed to be your partner for life. And really, Sister Gloria was very, like, she was the rock her husband could lie on even when everything else failed. The part where she told him, Bro Mike, I will always show up. Like,
What if no one comes? What if no one shows up?
I will always show up, Bra Mike. And most importantly, God will always show up for us.
that part was so significant for me because she was pregnant. Like, there was nothing she could do. She could not even act or anything, but she still went ahead to pray for him, encourage him. She always gave him good advice.
You are trying to fight this battle in your own understanding and in your own wisdom. Stop looking around for information and go to God for revelation.
When he was at a crossroad, that advice always came in handy.
I don't even know where to start.
You start by acting in faith.
And that just showed that whoever you are aligned with, like whoever you want to get married to, your purpose in life must align. Another thing that I took away from the movie is nobody can see your vision like you. Like, you have this dream, you have this aspiration, you have this vision that you want to come to fruition, and it's looking like, oh, why is nobody supporting me? Why is nobody can actually see your vision like you saw it. It's like you saw something. You Seeing is believing. You saw it, so you believe in it. But the other people that do not see it, don't expect them to believe in your dream, because at the end of the day, nobody can see your vision like you. Imagine all the people that had been with Bra Mike in the beginning. Imagine Bra Rotimi that had been with him in the beginning, and when he said, oh, we have to go into full-time ministry and everything, and Bra Rotimi was like, you must be joking, like, why would you think that? And I don't blame him, because it's not his vision, it's not his ministry. So at the end of the day, nobody can see your vision like you are the one that God gave the vision to. So don't feel discouraged when it looks like people are actually not supporting you. Another thing that I took away from this movie is that woe unto him that puts his trust in man.
This experience has taught me to learn to trust in God and not in man. To walk by faith and not by sight. God was the one that called us into this ministry. And the moment our focus is shifted from him, we'll always be disappointed.
Seriously, like, Bra Mike, God showed to him in various different ways and at different times that he was sufficient for him and he should not put his trust in man. Was it the time where his sister was supposed to come and launch their magazine and she did not bring money? Or the time whereby he thought that, oh, he was going to go to Kano and then Barotimi walked out on him, like at several times? Or even the time where the church elders were telling him that drama is not a ministry and he should not go into drama. Like, at different times, God showed to him that he was sufficient for him, that he was sufficient, because at the end of the day, you'd have expected that, oh, at least if nobody supports him, his sister will support him or the church elders will support him. Like, but at different times, people were actually disappointing him. People he would never have imagined that they would disappoint him. And at the end of the day, the man that God used to prophesy into his life that he was going to go around the world and everything was somebody that at the initial stage was not even supportive of him, like spending 2 hours like acting a 2 hour drama in his church. But at the end of the day, it was that man that then came and spoke to him and said one of the quotes that I think I held dear the most in the movie.
The Lord revealed to me that your pictures will be seen all over the world. I mean, throughout the world. You may be a Nigerian, you may be an African, but the whole world is your constituency.
And I feel like that was just God confirming to him that you cannot put your trust in man. You need to solely trust me. that's God, that he needed to put his trust in God completely. And that was like the greatest lesson that I took out of the movie. I hope you're able to take something away from it. If you've not seen the movie, the I'm going to put the link to the movie in the description box below. Please try and watch it. The movie is actually very inspirational. I'll also put the link to the soundtrack in the description box below. Thank you very much. I'll see you in my next one. God bless you.